Hello everyone and welcome to my first book review of 2018. Yay, that's so exciting. So the first book I'll be reviewing for you today, I would do a drum roll, but you already seen the title, so you already know, and that is Meet Cute. And this is a YA anthology by a myriad of authors edited by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book is literally 14 short stories about Meet Cute. So this has 14 short stories in it, all by a whole bunch of authors, and I thought I would review it for you guys because I just read it recently and I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite YA anthologies I've ever read. And basically in this video, I'm going to talk about each individual short story within this novel. I will keep them spoiler free. I'll just give you a very vague idea of what happened in the short story, so you won't get spoiled because, I mean, the short stories are like 20 to 30 pages, so if I told you a lot, you would literally know the whole story. I'm going to tell you what they're each about. I'm also going to rate them individually. And firstly, I'm going to tell you what I thought about it overall. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought this book had a ton of strong short stories in it. There was at least 4 or 5 in here that I rated 5 stars, which doesn't happen too often for me with short story collections. I found some really awesome authors that I haven't read before that I want to read now for sure after reading their short stories. And I think anthologies are just a great way for just that, is to discover a new author that you may have not heard before, like I just said. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book. I thought it was great. I gave it a 4.25 if we're going to be super technical here, because I really have to rate this book as a whole, like big picture, because there were a lot of stories in here I liked, but there was a few that I wasn't a fan of. So I thought I'd round it out to 4.25. So I would recommend this book. If you really want a cute, fluffy book with full of short stories about really cute ways to meet somebody, I would highly recommend this book. Definitely check it out. I mean, and the cover too. So adorable. So now I'm going to go into each individual short story and tell you my thoughts on them. So the first short story we have in here is Siege Etiquette by Katie Cudugno, which I gave a 2 out of 5. And I'm not super surprised. I have read all of Katie Cudugno's books this year, and she's a very hit or miss author for me. I really enjoy her writing style, but sometimes I don't like the characters, and that is the exact case with this short story. In this short story, we have a boy and girl that kind of get locked in the bathroom together when the cops are raiding a party. That's all I need to know about it. Again, the characters were kind of unlikable. I didn't find the writing super impressive. I didn't really find the whole meet cute aspect really strong in this book. Overall, it was kind of a meh short story, and I don't think it was the perfect way to start off this book. So yeah, maybe not be discouraged. I don't know. Everyone's got different opinions on these short stories. I've seen several other reviews on Goodreads, and my ratings were very different from other people's ratings for the short stories. So it's honestly your personal preference. I definitely did not enjoy the short story at all. However, the next short story is Print Shop by Nina LaCour, which I gave a 5 out of 5 to. Holy crap, this was my favorite short story without the whole book, hands down. I could have a full novel of this short story, honestly. And this short story is literally about the title, The Print Shop. It's about this really old school print shop that does everything by hands. They don't do printing on computers. They literally make banners and stuff with ink and their bare hands, honestly. And it's about this girl that has her first day starting out working at the print shop. Deals with a female disgruntled customer on Twitter, and things ensue from there. It was adorable. The writing was so beautiful. I'm not surprised at all that I love it, because I've heard that she has just beautiful writing. So this is an author that I haven't read before that I definitely want to check out more of, because I loved that short story. Hands down my favorite. Then we have Hourglass by E.B. Zaboy. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. I felt like this one didn't have a ton of depth. Girl that basically gets, it's hard to explain because not a ton happens. She has a friendship, and the friendship kind of falls apart, and it's basically about her learning about herself within these 30 pages. Overall, I felt like the ending was a true meet cute in my opinion. I was like, that is a meet cute. But overall, other than that, I felt like it didn't really have enough oomph, honestly, so it was kind of a middle of the road for me short story. Then we have Clique by Katherine McGee, which I also gave a 5 out of 5 stars to, and I was totally not expecting that. Short story is about the app called Clique, which is pretty much like Tinder, and this book is told like 10 years in the future, I think. And on Clique, you meet somebody that they like do the compatibility of like OkCupid, or you know. Basically in this story, you follow a girl and a guy that meet up for their first date on Clique. It's a Clique date, and crazy things happen from there. I loved this story. I was so surprised by this because I've never read anything by Katherine McGee, and I think she's written a Thousand Floor series, and now I definitely want to read that because I just found the characters to be warm and engaging, and the overall story to be freaking downright cute as mess. So yeah, 5 out of 5. I loved it. And then we have The Intern by Sarah Shepard, which I gave a 2 out of 5 to. Another kind of meh story. This is all about a girl that's an intern at a music record shop, and and she meets a musician, and things happen a little bit too in place for me, honestly. Like, this happened a little bit too, like, picture perfectly. So I gave it a 2 out of 5. I don't know, Sarah Shepard's another author that I have read her books before, but again, another hit or miss author for me. Then we have Somewhere That's Green by Meredith Russo, which I gave a 3.52. This is definitely the most diverse short story throughout the whole bunch, because follow a transgender girl who is in high school and she's really struggling with her high school because they're fighting her on her transgender, especially particularly with the bathrooms and stuff. And basically in the short story, she meets her foe and things progress from there. And it was really adorable. I didn't find much depth to it that I wanted to, especially with the transgender part of it. So I kind of wanted more from it. I think if it had another 20 pages, it could have been really fully fleshed out. But overall, definitely a strong short story within this mix, and definitely the most diverse, which I really appreciated it. And then we have The Way We Love here by Danielle Clayton, which I gave a 4.5, very close to 5 stars. This is a contemporary story set in kind of a fantasy way. I don't know. It's hard to explain this one, honestly. It's basically about this world where you have this ring on your finger and it has like 10 rings, and each ring will disappear when you get closer to finding your true love. And it's about these two teens that meet. I can't tell you more, obviously, but I love the way she wrote this short story. Like, I loved her writing style, so it makes me even more excited for her debut novel coming out this year that I was planning on reading. So now I'm even more excited because I've learned that I really love her writing style. I really enjoy this short story. Another one of my favorites. Very, very strong. Then we have Oomph, that's what it's called, by Emery Lord, which I gave a 4 out of 5. A really cute, adorable meet cute at an airport. Super adorable. I wouldn't expect anything less from Emery Lord. Wasn't my favorite in the bunch, but it was just really sugary sweet. What more can you ask for with a book called Meet Cute? Then we have The Dictionary of You and Me by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which I gave a 5 out of 5 to. So I have read a few of Jennifer L. Armentrout's books. I've read her, oh crap, what's the like really close to Twilight one? I forget what it was called. I read them, but I never like told anybody I read them because I didn't enjoy them, and I was really the unpopular opinion. That's when I really first started BookTube, and I was getting into the groove, and everyone kept talking about that series, and I was the only one that was like, I'm not a fan of it. So I've read a few of her books. Wasn't a fan of them. However, I loved this short story. This is about a girl that works at a library, and she has to call this one certain patron because he has an overdue dictionary, and they get to know each other throughout the phone. And it's literally all the adorables. This one wins the award for most like cute story in my opinion. I loved it, and it makes me happy to know that I liked it, because I was kind of on the downs and outs with Jennifer Armentrout, so maybe I should pick up another one of her books. So if you have any recommendations of her books, let me know, because I love the story. Definitely one of my favorites. The Unlikelihood of Falling in Love by Jocelyn Davis. Again, another 5 out of 5 for me. Like, what is going on? I've never read anything by Jocelyn Davis. I don't even know what book she has written, honestly. Oh, The Odds of Lightning. I've never even heard of that book. I must check it out now. And this one, we follow a girl that is the only female in her female statistics class. I know I have a bad time saying that. And they have this senior project coming up, and so she decides to do this project of the probability of like seeing this one really, really cute boy on the subway again. So she basically tests out all these scenarios. She tests out all these theories of like if she'll leave at a certain time, if she'll see him again. It was just downright adorable. I would love like a whole short story collection of like subway short like meet cutes or something. I don't know. It was super adorable. Then we have 259 Miles by Cass Morgan, which I gave a 3 out of 5 to. This one was okay. I thought it had a lot of potential. I just personally didn't love it as much as I wanted to, but maybe that's because I read 2 back-to-back 5 stars. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. This is about like a training simulation for Mars, honestly, and about a couple that meets and they have to be stuck together for like 24 hours. It was cute. I wanted a little bit more from it. Next is Something Real by Julie Murphy, which I also gave a 3 out of 5 to. This one had so much potential, but I felt like it kind of fell flat for me. It follows 2 girls who basically enter this like dating contest to go on a date with a celebrity, and obviously you can guess what happens, and it was cute. It ended way too abruptly in my opinion. I felt like some of it could have been cut out to replace with more of the original couple, but overall it was cute, but just not one of my favorites. Next is Say Everything by Huntley Fitzpatrick, which I gave a 2 out of 5 to, and I'm very surprised with this one as well because I love Huntley Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick's books. I've read all of her books and I was really expecting to love this one, but not a lot happened. This one was probably the most boring one of the bunch, honestly. That and Kitty Took a Dug Nose. And yeah, I love both of those authors. Isn't that weird how things like that happen? If I'm honest with you, I don't remember what happened in this short story. A boy and girl meet and she had like a troubled past. That's all I know. It wasn't one of my favorites. And the last short story is The Department of Dead Love by Nicola Yoon, which I gave a 4 out of 5 to. I was expecting to give this one a 5 out of 5 because I love Nicola Yoon's books. One of my favorite books, honestly, of all time is Anna's Also a Star. I love that book. This book is a very interesting concept. Basically, the heart's like a department, like in this book, like we have a guy who goes to the dead love department of a couple that broke up, and he basically goes to a heart treader who are like heart workers, and they really dive into his relationship and figured out why they broke up, if that makes any sense. Either way, it was a solid one, not one of my favorites. So those are my thoughts and opinions on every single short story within this book. Overall, like I said, I enjoyed the majority of these stories. A lot of these I really loved and still think about because they were just so freaking cute. I mean, this book honestly is perfect to read on Valentine's Day, so if you have a copy of it, save it for February 14th or just the month of love, or read it now. I mean, it's so cute. Why not? So I would highly recommend this book, especially if you're interested in short story collections and if you're interested in trying out a whole bunch of new authors you were not like interested in before, like you haven't read before. For example, for me, Danielle Clayton is one of them, Jocelyn Davis, Nina LaCour, Meredith Russo, E.B. Azoy, all these authors that I want to read more of now because I read their short stories. So that's what's great about short story collections in my opinion. So I would highly recommend checking out this one. If you have read this book also, let me know what were some of your favorite short stories. Were we the same as our ratings or not? I would love to hear. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.